Jake here for American Trucks, and today I'm taking a look at the proven ground dual exit exhaust system with polished tips fitting 2019 and newer 5.3 liter Silverados without the factory dual exhaust. If you're after that performance sound without that performance price, then this is going to be the system for you. Now, uncorking the 5.3 Vortex sound is always a fun exploit, and this setup brings you some great sound and quality at an equally great price. Now, it does have quite a bit of volume to it, so we're going to give this a very strong 3 out of 5 on our loudness meter. Definitely going to be a step up from your stock system, and your neighbors will know what's up with this one. This is a full 3-inch catback system, so this is going to replace your factory mufflers and resonators with this suitcase style muffler right here. And as the clips at the beginning of the video would lead you to believe, and as the resonance of this thing would substantiate, the muffler has some baffling, but you're still going to get some good noise and resonance out of it. Now, it's not hard to make a small block Chevy V8 sound good, but this system will really wake things up. Now, it's not super duper loud, but the tone is quite different from stock. So you get a much more aggressive exhaust note, much more muscle car or race car-esque than stock. You get some burbles and barks through it too, and it really just sounds great. And that muffler also means that you're gonna get some better exhaust flow too, plus you're removing a resonator, so less stuff in the way helps you make an increase in power. Now, how much may vary depending on what else you've got done to your truck and just how your truck's health is in general. Don't expect a huge increase in power here, but you may feel a bit more through the seat of your pants, although it might just be the fact that you like the exhaust sound so much that you're flooring it everywhere you go. Now, inside the cabin, of course, this all means that you're gonna get more noise too, so prepare for that. But as you heard at the clips at the beginning of the video, this is louder inside, but it still sounds good. Really good, in fact, but it's not gonna overpower you, and it's gonna be good for a daily driven truck. Now, from an aesthetic perspective, this is where things get even more interesting in my book. Since this system is designed for trucks that don't have the factory dual exhaust, you have options. That's right, so you can have this exit straight out the back like a traditional dual exhaust, or you can use these other pieces right here to have the tips exit out the sides behind the rear wheels. So if you're gonna be towing and you wanna keep the exhaust off of whatever you've got on the trailer, have it exit out the side. Or if you wanna just look like a true hot rod type of truck, you can have these guys and it'll exit straight out the back, and you can switch it up if the mood strikes you. Either way, it's gonna finish off with a set of these T304 stainless tips. It's a pretty subtle look, but these are really nice and hefty. They're dual wall, they've got this nice slash cut to them, and it's gonna be a nice little contrast to the sound too, but you'll get a visual update to go along with the sound. Now, personally, I'm a big fan of a more polished exhaust tip, especially something that looks like this. It's a nice sort of subtle flavor, but it does give an update for those who are looking for it. Construction here is all 409 grade mandrel bent 3-inch stainless steel. So this is going to allow for some solid exhaust flow, better exhaust flow than stock even, and it'll also give you some good protection against rust and corrosion as well. Now, it won't be quite as much as T304 stainless, but this also doesn't come at the price of T304, but it will still last you a long time. It's all actually quite nice too. I was surprised to see how nice a quality it is given the price. Everything looks pretty good. The muffler obviously has this nice polish to it, and all of the welds are really straight and really solid too. It's a nice thing to see here because even on some of the more expensive exhausts that we get through the door here, they don't have welds that look quite like that. So it's a really pleasant surprise when you pull something out of the box and the weld looks so darn good. It's almost a shame that you won't be able to see this once it's on the truck, but this is a great looking and sounding system, especially considering that price. Now, I beat around the bush enough, so let's get to it. This is gonna run you about $650, and that makes it a pretty affordable option, especially in considering the sound and materials. It won't be quite as expensive as something that's made from T304. You're not getting any like huge fancy tips or switchable valves here, but you do get a lot of flexibility, and it is quite a bit of piping here, so you are gonna have to, of course, account for that. But I think this one really looks and sounds good, and if you want that type of flexibility, the subtle look, and the nice quality for not a huge price, this is absolutely worth your consideration. In fact, I'd be pretty darn happy if I ordered it and it showed up looking like this at my doorstep, so I think you'll be pretty pleased with it too. Installation gets a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter and should take you about 2 hours to complete. Now, like most exhausts, this is a pretty straightforward process. It's going to utilize all your factory exhaust hanger locations, and the additional hanger that you need to get the other pipe hung up is included in the kit too. but you don't need to modify anything. It's all just totally bolt on. Now there is a lot of piping here, so it is gonna take you some time to put it together, and you might wanna play around too, depending on how you want the exhaust to exit. So that may account for a little extra time too. But either way, it's gonna be a pretty straightforward process. And to show you exactly what's involved, let's go ahead and jump on out to the install bay now.
For this install, you will need an impact, 13, 15, and 16 millimeter sockets, a 16 millimeter wrench, exhaust hanger pliers, penetrating lubricant, and not shown here is a pole jack or a jack and jack stands. What's up guys, today we're going to be installing a new exhaust on our Silverado, so let's get started.
First step of the uninstall here, of course, get your truck up in the air and properly supported either on jack stands or on a lift like we have it here. I have pole jacks supporting it at the end and the middle of the exhaust, and when we start unbolting it, we have some support. Grab your 13 millimeter socket. We're going to loosen up this bolt holding the clamp next to our catalytic converter. All right, next step, we're gonna grab our hanger removal tool and we're gonna pop out our hangers from our isolators. Now it's a good idea to grab WD-40 or PB Blaster or something similar to lubricate both sides of this to make life easier. There's a couple of these we'll have to remove along the exhaust. A hanger removal tool is definitely gonna come in handy here. Now on the side of our muffler closest to the rear of the vehicle, we have two hangers. And you can see I have my pole jack here because once these two come off, this is gonna start to drop down a little bit and we want that support there. I'm gonna grab my hanger tool and pop these guys off. Last hanger before the entire exhaust is free in one piece is right above our tailpipe. And there you have it. Now we can grab a helping hand, or if you can do this yourself, you can pull the whole exhaust off in one piece.
So we're going to begin our install with our mid pipe here. So we're going to go ahead and slide that over our cross member. Get that lined up with our flare flange here. And we're going to insert our hanger into our isolator like so. Just to help hold it in place, and then we can go ahead and get our flange clamp on. So we'll go ahead and get our flange set over our flare here. Let it hang down while we grab our tool. We're gonna get this lined up. We're gonna snug our clamp down, but we're not gonna fully tighten it yet to allow for any adjustments we need to make. So we'll take our 13 millimeter socket on our impact and begin tightening this down. Now once you get it close, you wanna make sure your washers here line up. And we'll start to snug it down more. Once you feel some tension start, you can get your pipe how it's supposed to be. Again, you just want it tight enough to kind of hold, but not fully clamp just yet. That'll hold it in place, but as you can see, it still moves. So now we're getting ready to install our muffler section. So we've got our pole jack back into place here to help us hold that. And we're gonna grab one of our 3-inch clamps and slide that over our mid pipe first. And then we'll go ahead, grab our muffler, slide that into position. And we'll adjust our pole jack accordingly. Slide our muffler onto our mid pipe here. Get our clamp into position. And we'll get ready to snug this down, but again, we're not going to fully tighten anything just yet to allow for all the adjustments we'll need to make. So now we're going to go ahead and grab our 15 millimeter socket on our impact and snug this clamp down. And you want to make sure your clamp lands pretty much at the very end of your slip fit here. So just snug enough. You want to make sure you can still move it if necessary. So now we're going to go ahead and install our passenger side over axle section. So again, we'll start by taking a 3-inch clamp, sliding that over our slip fit here. Then we'll take our over axle pipe and get that over our axle. We'll get this into position here. May need to lower down the muffler hair. You want to go ahead and work that into place. So now that we have this in our slip fit, we're going to go ahead and install our hangers into our isolators. We need to use our pole jack to work this around a little bit, get the right height. We'll get that one in, then we'll go ahead and get our tail section one in. So now we can go ahead and get our tail section hanger into our isolator. Now you are going to have to push it into this spare tire shield, but it will pop back once it's in the hanger. It's just a really tight fit here. I'll work it around. And once you work it in, it'll bring it right back out, so you'll have clearance and you won't have anything rattling, so we don't want that. So now we can go ahead and begin getting our driver side over axle section in place. And again, we're going to start with another 3-inch clamp over our slip fit. Now you'll notice I have these opposing, and I like to do that because when you go to tighten them down, you can turn them 90 degrees and easily access them straight up from the bottom, and they won't be interfering with each other, and it looks cleaner if you don't see the bolt for the clamps as you drive down the road. So we'll go ahead and get our driver over axle section in place. And we're gonna go ahead and stick it in the hanger isolator first. Then we'll work it back and set it into our slip fit here. Get that set pretty good there. And again, we're gonna leave our clamps up here loose for now so we can adjust as we go. So now we're going to get our secondary over axle pipe in place. And again, we're going to start with another 3-inch clamp. Slide that onto our pipe here. And we're going to grab our over axle section, slide that up into place. And work that onto this piece here. I know it's kind of hard to see, but this is an awkward position. You want that to sit as far back as possible because you don't want to run into your spare tire area here. So we are going to snug this clamp down while setting our clearance for this pipe just to make sure that nothing interferes and we can have the rest of our tail section of our exhaust going in the right way. So we'll grab our 15mm socket on our impact and we'll get that on our clamp here. And then we're going to grab our over axle pipe and get that set pretty much to where we want it to be so it has clearance, and we'll go ahead and snug our clamp down. Just enough to make sure it won't move freely. And we know we're clear of our spare tire here, then we can get the rest on. So now we're going to go ahead and install our driver's side rear hanger isolator bracket. And that is going to be right located where the second to last leaf spring ends. Basically, there is an oval hole opening on your frame rail, and that's right where we're going to mount. So we'll grab our 2 provided square washers as well as our hanger mount. We're going to go ahead and get this in place. We're going to grab our 15mm bolt, lock washer, and flat washer. We'll get that started through here just to help hold these. We'll come up over top of our leaf spring to make it easier. And we'll get this through to the other side. So now once we have this through, we'll add our other square washer and our 15mm nut on the back side. Get this lined up and we'll get ready to tighten that down. So as a correction, this is a 16mm bolt and a 16mm nut, not a 15 as mentioned. So we'll go ahead and tighten these down with our 16mm socket on our impact and our 16mm wrench. So now we can go ahead and get our isolator installed onto our hanger side. Now, since this is brand new, this rubber tends to stick. So we're gonna go ahead and spray a little bit of penetrating lubricant into our openings here. You don't need that much, just enough to properly slide without giving you troubles. Let that run through. Then we'll go ahead, slide our isolator on. I like to get them pretty far on there, just like that. So now we can get ready to install our lower tail section pipe here. So once again, we'll grab our 3-inch clamp, slide that onto our piece here. And we're gonna put this one as far up as we can. Now sometimes you do run into this problem where you can't really get the isolator, a hanger in the isolator, but do work it pretty good. Should go in there just like that. Just want to double check you've maintained all your clearances. Everything's sitting how it should be. So now we can go ahead and install our rear exit portion of our exhaust. For that, we're going to grab our 3-inch clamp, slide that into place over our drop pipe here. And we're going to grab our S-pipe, slide that on with our outlet facing towards the outside of the vehicle. We'll get that into position, slide our clamp over. Then we're going to snug this down so it will hold, but it's still movable for adjustments. Then we'll grab our 15mm socket on our impact and go ahead and snug our clamp down. It's pretty snug. Then we can install our tip. Then we'll go ahead and get our tip into position. Slide that on. We're gonna make it about flush with the outer edge of our bumper here. It'll follow this trail in. Make sure our slash cut is facing vertical. So now to tighten down our tip, we're gonna grab our swivel adapter for our 15 on our impact. Go ahead and tighten this down. Now we can come back and fully tighten down our outlet tube clamp. Now we can go ahead and get our passenger side exit installed. So we'll grab our 3-inch clamp again, slide that on, slide our S-pipe on. And you want to kind of have it lined up the same way as your other side here. Get our clamp into position. We'll go ahead and snug this down with our 15mm again. And we'll install our tip. Now we'll go ahead and get our tip into position. We want to have it at the same angle as our other one. Once we have that on, we'll go ahead and tighten this down. Make sure our angles line up. Then we'll come back and fully tighten down our outlet clamp. Alrighty guys, that about wraps up our review and install of our Proven Ground dual exhaust system with polished tips and side or rear exits for your 19 to current 5.3 liter Silverado 1500 without factory dual exhaust. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything Silverado, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.